Sarah didn't understand why the store employee was staring at the photo like he'd seen a ghost. She only realized something was wrong when his hands began to shake as he held out her wallet. The late-night grocery store in Chicago buzzed softly with refrigerators humming, but everything fell silent between them as the man in the dark blue stocking uniform looked at her with wide, terrified eyes. Is this your brother?" he whispered, holding the small, worn photograph with the frayed corners. Sarah froze in place, her heart stuttering, because no one ever asked about that picture. "Yes," she said quietly. "That's Lucas." The man swallowed hard, his Adam's apple trembling. She noticed now the details she had missed before. The exhaustion in his blue eyes, the deep shadows underneath them, the uneven breathing, the way he held the photo like it was something sacred. I know him," he said, voice cracking. And those were the last words she expected to hear from a stranger in a grocery store. Before moving on, don't just watch. Join the movement. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to never miss a story that could open hearts and inspire real change. Sarah's breath caught. "You knew Lucas?" The man shut his eyes, steadying himself. "I didn't just know him. I was the paramedic who held his hand the night of the accident." Sarah felt the room tilt. The buzzing lights, the aisles full of cereal boxes, the half-full shopping cart, all of it blurred. She stared at him, unblinking, tears already forming even though she hadn't processed anything yet. You were there?" she whispered. The man nodded slowly. "My name is Evan," he said softly. "I tried everything. I swear I tried everything." Sarah's hand covered her mouth as a sob slipped out. She had spent years imagining the face of the paramedic who stayed with Lucas in his final moments, the one she never got to thank, the one whose name she never learned. And now here he was, trembling in front of her, holding the picture of the brother she still dreamed about. "Please," Sarah whispered, stepping closer, "tell me what happened." But Evan stepped back, guilt clouding his expression. "No," he said, shaking his head. "You don't want to hear it from me. I failed him. I failed you." Sarah blinked, stunned. "Failed?" Evan's voice broke as he stared down at the photo. "I was the lead paramedic that night. I was 29. I thought I could save anyone. But Lucas, he was slipping and His voice collapsed. "I've replayed it every night for 5 years. Every night. All the things I could have done differently. All the things I should have done. I should have saved him. I should have brought him home to you." Sarah stepped toward him, her heart breaking, not just for her brother, but for the tortured man in front of her. "Evan," she said gently, "you didn't fail him." He shook his head violently, tears blurring his vision. "You weren't there. You didn't see what I couldn't do." Sarah took a deep breath, gripping her own shaking hands. "I saw the accident," she whispered. "I saw the car. I saw him. Evan. There was nothing anyone could have done." He looked at her as if he didn't believe a single word. But she stepped even closer now, her voice trembling with truth. "Lucas lived an extra 17 minutes after the crash," she said softly. 17 minutes. The doctors told me that. They said the paramedic who arrived kept him alive long enough for me to get there, even though I was still on the other side of the city. Evan's eyes widened, lips parting in disbelief. He lived that long?" "Because of you," Sarah whispered. "You gave me 17 minutes to hold his hand, to tell him I loved him, to say goodbye. That wasn't failure, Evan. That was a gift." Evan pressed a hand against his mouth, his breath catching in his throat. For years he had carried nothing but guilt, believing he was the reason Lucas didn't make it. Sarah saw the moment the truth hit him. It was like watching a weight fall off a man's shoulders so heavy it nearly broke him. Tears streamed down his face as he choked out, I'm so sorry." But Sarah shook her head. "No, I'm the one who should be thanking you." He looked up sharply, shocked. "Thanking me?" Sarah nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I've prayed for years to meet the person who stayed with him, who didn't let him die alone, who fought for him even when there was no hope left." She reached out, taking the photo from his trembling hand and gently placing it back into her wallet. You were Lucas's last friend in this world, she whispered. I can never repay you for that. Evan crumpled, his back hitting the shelf behind him as he slid down to a crouch, overwhelmed by grief and relief all at once. Sarah knelt beside him, placing a gentle hand on his arm. For a long moment, they simply cried together on the quiet linoleum floor of the grocery store, two broken hearts stitched together by the memory of someone they both loved in different ways. When Evan finally found his voice, it came out hoarse and small. I don't know how to live with what happened. Sarah squeezed his arm. You already have, she said softly. You showed up tonight. You returned my wallet. You faced the photo you've been running from. That matters. Evan wiped his face with the back of his sleeve, looking at her with a mixture of pain and gratitude. I never thought I'd get forgiveness, he whispered. You don't need forgiveness, Sarah replied gently. You need peace. Evan exhaled shakily, like he was breathing for the first time in years. As they stood, Sarah offered him a small, trembling smile. If you're willing, she said, I'd like to tell you more about Lucas, the parts of him you didn't get to know. A soft, stunned smile flickered across Evan's face. I'd like that, he whispered. And for the first time since the night of the accident, he stepped out of the shadows of his guilt, guided by the sister of the boy he had never forgotten.